Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be restarting our underused Pokemon series where we take the first few minutes of the video to build around a underused Pokemon, and I will be testing out in some battles just to be sure if it is going to be underused for a reason or if maybe it actually is like the secret sauce in the metagame. So today we're going to be building around Dragapult. And of course guys, if you are just here for the team or the battles, the timestamps and the rental code and all that will be in the description down below, so feel free to check that out. But jumping right into things with Dragapult, and I'm actually going to be able to cheat a little bit on this one, as I did play Dragapult on stream the other day, and what I've noticed is that this combination of 4 Pokemon right here was actually really strong. Just Dragapult, Farigiraf, Venusaur, Raichu felt very good to me, right? I had that hyper offensive mode where I have Raichu and Dragapult just sending offense without having to worry about priority attacks because I have a Giraffe. And then I also needed to, if I needed to slow the game down with a little bit of a bulkier piece, you know, I had the Giraffe, I had the Venusaur. I also had an Instant on that team, but I'm not convinced if that is the way this is going to go. However, I had that slower mode that allowed me to, play that slower style game where, I wasn't able to take those one-hit knockouts. So this is how we're going to build this one out. We are going to be Life Orb on this Dragapult as well as Special. Screens is picking up in usage, so Infiltrator makes the most sense to me. And this is where it gets interesting because I think Shadow Ball is a must-have. Being able to get rid of Basque Legions is phenomenal. I think Draco Meteor is super important. And then you kind of have to pick. Do you want Thunderbolt? Do you want Fire Move? And I think it's Fire Move on this team. I already have a Raichu if I want a big electric attack. And I'd probably take Thunderbolt on the Farigiraf just because it is nice into a lot of the rain teams. And just Pokemon in general. So I think I do get to go Fire Move here. And I also think Fire Blast is interesting. You get better calcs with Fire Blast. This can easily be Flamethrower. But mostly the King Gambits where you can just drop Helping Hand, Fire Blast, and they're dying. Right? Being able to remove any King Gambit despite the bulk is very nice, especially, when you don't want to have to take a follow-up Kowtow Cleave. It is a little weird versus some of the Focus Sash King Gambits, but at that point they're less bulky, and I think, you're doing enough to them anyways at that point. So it's probably correct. As always, we'll get spreads in later. The Giraffe, once again, going to be a pretty standard Giraffe here. I think it's supposed to be Colberberry. And the concept of Colberberry is that I'm leading this beside 2 things that don't want to be eating Sucker Punches. We probably will make the Raichu be able to survive it, but the Dragapult's never going to survive a Sucker Punch. So if the Giraffe can stay on the field longer to help the Dragapult, to help that Raichu, versus those King Gambits, it feels like Colberberry is correct. I'm sure there's going to be spots where, man, we wish we were Citrus, but for right now, this is going to be fine. We're going to go Psychic. Like I said, I think Thunderbolt is correct. I also get the opportunity, to click Thunderbolt and boost my Raichu. I did have a clip of that somewhere on the channel, taking out a Toxapex with that. So there's definitely an option there I like. I definitely need Helping Hand. I think this is like Helping Hand plus Dragapult is like kind of the big thing with the Farigiraf Dragapult. You get one of the fastest pieces in the game. You get the Helping Hand beside it. And you just get to launch big damage off. And then this is just going to be Trick Room. Protect would be nice, but having the ability to reverse a Trick Room from our opponent's end is very nice, because it just gets us out. We're not a Trick Room team. We don't want to be in Trick Room, so having that potential to just stay out of Trick Room is nice. And I guess if they just like go crazy with like Tailwind stuff, we can set Trick Room too. But probably the direction we're going to be headed there. Venusaur, Mega Venusaur, in theory, on paper, whatever you want to call it, however you want to describe that, is a phenomenal Pokemon. In practice, it gets a little more shaky. We're gonna go with the Giga Drain. We're gonna go with the Earth Power because it is the correct coverage move, as well as the Sludge Bomb. Just overall, pretty consistent 3 attacks. Nothing wrong with this piece. The Thick Fat's very nice, and you just match up really well into the metagame. Having Earth Power to hit something like the Rain teams with the Archaludon, Sludge Bomb to hit all the Floettes, all the Sylveons, and then Giga Drain's just a pretty consistent move into anything weak to grass, and it just keeps us alive on the field as well. So nothing too crazy there. Pretty standard Mega Venusaur build. Raichu, once again, going to be pretty common, right? We're going to go Zap Cannon. We're going to go Focus Blast. Those are by far the best two moves with the No Guard ability. Follow that. I liked having Encore. I think Encore is very, very strong on the Raichu. And this is where you now have to make a choice. You can make a choice on going clicking Fake Out, or you can make a choice on Protect. I really do like Protect. I am opting for no Fake Out on this Raichu. Once again, this is definitely a spot where, you know what, you're not using Encore. Go ahead and put like Zap Cannon, Focus Blast, Fake Out, Protect. You can absolutely do that. You can drop Protect for Fake Out if you want. But being able to stick around on the field for that extra turn with a Protect, it just feels so good. Maybe this is just the balance player in me, but you guys get my point. If you guys want to feel like adapting this a little bit, feel free to go ahead and do so. Now we have to worry about ice types. Now, I know it's not like, oh my goodness, these ice types are going to absolutely destroy us, but I do think having some sort of resist would be very nice. So, how do I want to close this? I feel like King Gambit is also relatively decent. I wonder if this is just like a Ninetales King Gambit angle. That gives us 2 ice resists, ways to push back. Let's see how this looks. Like Ninetales, Alola, and King Gambit. So does it need to be King Gambit is the question. King Gambit's nice for Sucker Punch stuff. If we pull into... Honestly, this looks probably fine, right? This looks like a decent way to test things out. I think that's pretty solid. We go with probably a more traditional sense of... Is it Setup Gambit? I wouldn't mind a Setup King Gambit, but without Fake Out on Raichu, I wonder if I just make that pivot and put Fake Out on Raichu, because then I get the option to go Fake Out Swords Dance, which is another mode that allows Raichu to function, and it still doesn't change its main function. So I actually do kind of like that, so we will go back and make that change. We'll just go Black Glasses Setup then, so we'll go Swords Dance stuff. Close combat, hello. Sucker Punch, Swords Dance, and Protect. Could also go Life Orb, but actually no, we can't because we have it on the Dragapult. Never mind. I do worry a lot about opposing Dragapult. Sorry, about opposing King Gambit. We don't really have great ways of hitting that piece. We have Raichu, which is cool. We have the Fire move from the Dragapult. It's not the most consistent matchup though, so maybe we do want something that's a little more, you know, solid into them. The Ninetales is nice, but most of them are running Iron Head right now. So I wonder if Ninetales is wrong. However, into something like a Garchomp, having that bulkier option is pretty nice. Instant is cute here, right? And then I don't need to change. And then I don't necessarily need to change Fake Out onto Raichu. We just have the Instant Farigiraf with a King Gambit in the back kind of thing. We could go with a relatively offensive Instant as well. Just have it be like a close combat Instant. I'd have to run Calcs on that though, but I don't hate it because generally speaking on these Trick Room teams, right? If I can go Instant Giraffe and just have close combat and kill off a King Gambit, I would say that's a relatively decent start. It's nice into opposing Instants as well. I don't know that calc though. I'll have to go check. Let me check that right now actually. Okay, we're back. So yeah, close combat absolutely will decimate opposing King Gambits here. So I wonder if this is the spot for, you know, like that White Herb offensive Instant on the Trick Room teams, because then we can go Instant Giraffe and just start putting on pressure. I really do kind of like that. So let's go for that. Let's go Flare Blitz. Let's go Close Combat. Let's go Darkest Lariat. We're just going to get pretty aggressive with this and then Fake Out. Because we get Fake Out Trick Room. I know there's no pivot ability on this, no Parting Shot, which is a little bit more of a concern. However, I don't really think our entire concept is to like turn around and set up and sweep. It's more so Instant can be the offensive pressure, but it doesn't necessarily need to be, so to speak. So with this, I'm happy with this. I think we either go White Herb or like a Charcoal for extra damage. Charcoal is cute. Charcoal is probably the more consistent option, just because bigger damage from Flare Blitz is never a bad thing. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and do that. I worry about changing King Gambit now. I feel like I might want to not be Sucker Punch or Swords Dance, sorry. Like if we just go 3 attack with like a low kick, that does tidy up the King Gambit matchup with our own King Gambit. No Iron Head is also a little weird. I wonder if this is supposed to be a 4 attack King Gambit. Like a Choppleberry 4 attack. Because then you get to go Kowtow Cleave, Sucker Punch, Iron Head, and you get all the tech moves. And I know I said this in my last video on my team report team, but all the tech moves feel so good on King Gambit because you're just able to get what you want with them, right? You want Iron Head for like the fairy types, and the ice types. You want Sucker Punch for the priority in the end game. You want to have Kowtow Cleave. You want to have Low Kick, right? So I think 4-Tech Chople Berry is cool, especially on like a ladder sense of a team. If I was trying to optimize this for best of 3, I might alter that. But I'm going to throw some spreads in. I will be back to quickly go over those, and then we'll jump into some gameplay. Really quickly now, we're just going to go over some spreads. Just going to hit the benchmarks with these guys. A lot of the times, these are very experimental, so feel free to modify them as you feel necessary. But 206 speed effectively is here to outspeed Megalopony. We can't catch up to the Basculegion anyways, so the little bit of extra bulk might come in handy at some point. Drop max special attack there. The 169 is optimal for Life Orb recoil. It's not like a huge thing, but I had the EVs for it since I wasn't just going to go max speed because I don't need to worry about speed tying other Dragapult. They don't exist. And then just dump the last 2 in special defense. Nothing crazy here. Speed that I needed, and then a bunch of special attack that makes more sense because I'm trying to take things out with this Dragapult here. Followed suit the Giraffe, just nice and bulky, guys. This is what I came up with. There's probably about 72 bold Giraffe spreads that you guys have seen. Feel free to use whichever one you like. There's a case to be made for maybe putting a little bit more into special defense on a team like this. But overall, I do like the Farigiraf being able to like live some stuff in the rain. So that's why I went all in on bold. I don't know, like that wave crash and stuff. Venusaur, I realized very early on my other stream that I never made it offensive enough and it was always missing KOs. So despite that, I said, you know what, we're going to change it. We're just going to be a little bit more aggressive with the Venusaur. I'm not sure in terms of like what speed stat you really want to hit. I know a lot of the Archaludons set at like 108, 109, somewhere in that range. So I tried to speed creep those guys. If they do end up being faster than you, you probably do want to be faster than the common Archaludon with this Venusaur. Being able to get a couple Earth Powers off before, you know, they get 2 attacks off is definitely nice. Because the 1 Electro Shot, I find, you know, you're not really going to lose to 1 Electro Shot. You're going to lose to like an Electro Shot into a Draco Meteor or a Dragon Pulse, right? So if you can stop them from getting 2 attacks off, it seems to you know, keep it in check a little bit better. You could also go up a little bit to outpace the Pelipper, like the max speed modest Pelipers could be something. So that would be like 18, I think, like 118. Yeah. You could also do this and outpace the max speed modest Pelipper, which I'm actually tempted to do now that I've mentioned it. So, you know, we're just going to go ahead and do exactly this. I know I lose a lot of bulk, but in theory, I really want to do damage, and that Pelipper Calc does seem kind of nice to be faster than, so we'll run with that. The Raichu, absolutely nothing too crazy here, guys. 196 ends up outpacing the Pyroars. I'm opting to not be max speed for a little bit of extra bulk and special attack. It's not, I don't think it's the best spread in the world, but you do live some cool things from like the Basculegion, the King Gambit Sucker Punches if the Giraffe is not on the field. So I feel like there's definitely some merit to this. You could just go max speed, absolutely, and maybe drop it out of like special attack, but you could also just go max and say, you know what, I don't care about bulk, which is also super valid. So I'm opting for this. It's going to get a little weird versus some of like the non-mega Aerodactyls, but other than that, it's not really going to be a problem in my opinion. Instant, guys, you can go max attack, max HP. The concept of this was offensive. I did switch to White Herb. I couldn't find a calc that I really loved because I had a Charcoal. And I felt like with this piece, I'm going to be clicking Close Combat and Darkest Lariat a little bit more often. So rather than just, you know, boosting my Flare Blitz, let's just, you know, make it so that, you know, I'm not getting intimidated to being useless. So we're at least going to have a White Herb here for a little bit, get some extra damage out that way. And overall, the spread, once again, you can go max. The 25 is all I needed to get the kills with the Darkest Lariat into the bulkless Basculegions. I think you can get it with 22 as well, but at that point 25 was a nice number to get the extra point here, so I went with that. And then just good chunk of HP, and I dumped it into Spadef. You can dump it into defense, whichever way you choose. I did go min speed on this Incineroar, just because it makes sense, right? If I'm using this as like, oh, I'm going to click Fake Out Trick Room and then have instant start doing massive damage. this being slow in Trick Room made a little bit of sense. It's not like a main mode, but I don't think I lose much from my Incineroar being a slower nature. King Gambit coming out here with just max, guys. There wasn't really anything to, you know, explore with this one. The 32 HP and the 2 into defense with the Chople Berry will live the close combat from the Jolly Sneaslers, which was good enough of a calc for me. I wasn't going to try to live the adamant ones. Between having Dragapult, a Raichu, and a Venusaur intimidate with the Incineroar, and a Giraffe for that matter, I'm not really too worried about the Sneasler, but I needed something to calc for with the Chople Berry, and I mean, it ended up being max plus 2 anyways, but overall, cool team. As always, guys, if you guys do have spreads of your own for this kind of stuff, feel free. This is purely experimental, but we're going to jump into some games for you guys now. Jumping into game number 1, we're actually going to get a very interesting Gallade Basculegion team. I wonder if I should move my camera. Sorry, that's a minor thought. That did not need to be said out loud. But hey, because I feel like my head is just like right where the Gallade is and all my moves are, so I should probably be moving this. I don't know where I'm going to move it to, so you guys are going to watch me move around for a little bit. Anyways, you guys can see what we got here. It's actually a team that was featured, I believe, on who featured this? Someone featured this. I saw this team featured, but I don't remember who it was. But regardless, gonna probably be like a Kangaskhan and Chandelure lead. They're gonna look for like some Trick Room stuff out of that. I don't know if the Gallade is indeed Iron Ball, but it wouldn't surprise me. And if I'm correct, it's actually like min speed Basculegion. So King Gambit is definitely going to be brought here. I think Instant is actually phenomenal once that Kangaskhan Mega evolves. So I don't know if I want to lead the Instant. What I want to do almost is bring like, I don't think I can go Raichu. I think the concept is going to be like Venusaur to put a little bit of bulk on the board. Like I can go Venusaur, my own Giraffe. I kind of want Trick Room to go up. So I go Venusaur, my own Giraffe. Let's go Instant and Gambit. It's not ideal, especially if they do opt for something like the Gallade. I don't actually have a lot for Gallade in general, but I think we, in theory, should be okay here regardless. I don't know where my camera's weird because this is going to be right in the way of like the HP bar down here, but they're going to go King Gambit Chandelure. So interesting option. Very happy that I opted to, you know, not bring my my Instant on lead, but okay. How does one win this game? What is our optimal play? I think I just double Chandelure. I Mega, I drop an Earth Power, and I drop like a Psychic. I don't know if it's gonna kill. I highly doubt it's gonna kill, but this forces them to actually like send a double up in terms of attack to get a KO. I don't think that's something they're capable of acquiring here. If I do kill the Chandelure, maybe I set Trick Room up myself here. Earth Power into Psychic. It's going to be close, but Chandelure probably has enough to be able to tank that. Chandelure no longer has enough to be able to tank that. It does just decide for the Heat Wave, as my Giraffe does dodge, so decent turn. Yeah, see what I mean? This is what I mean by my camera there. So we are still in the green. I don't know where to put it. Do I just like float up here? Is that like where we go? Do I just go up here? I don't know. This feels a little odd. It feels odd being up in the top left corner, but we are going to get rid of the Chandelure. They're going to really be scared of this Venusaur. Really focusing it down from our opponent's end here. And obviously they still can't click Sucker Punch, so they are a Trick Room team and they definitely can't click Fake Out. So I get, if Venusaur is the fastest thing on the board, I'm getting damage into something. It is going to be the Kangaskhan. So what I think I want to do is actually get the damage into King Gambit and just go for like Earth Power Helping Hand and just get as much damage off as I can with this Venusaur. I don't know if I get a KO here, but it should be doing a decent amount. I'd imagine this is min speed Kangaskhan, which I believe is 99 in that case. So I'm banking on my Venusaur being faster. If Venusaur is slower, we're in a very bad position, but we'll have to see how this goes. Okay. I am indeed faster. Earth Power does go out, Helping Hand boosted into the Gambit. Not quite enough for the KO, but I'm at a spot where I'm at least a little bit more content with what's in front of me. They go double edge, that's fine. And they're going to drop a Kowtow what's into my Colbur Berry, and I'm okay with that. Did we see that my Giraffe was faster? I believe we did. So if my Giraffe is faster than that Gambit, I do just get to walk in with Incineroar and click Thunderbolt into the King Gambit. I believe that's what we've seen already. And I might just send a close combat into this Kangaskhan. Like, I know it's not like the ideal scenario, but I really see no... Actually, I should probably just fake out, right? Just get the chip. Yeah, that's probably just better. Put the fake out on the board, and the King Gambit's kind of useless, assuming my Giraffe is faster, which I believe is what we did see. So I'll just get the Thunderbolt to kill off the King Gambit here, and make this Kangaskhan kind of useless for the turn. Could have set a Trick Room. Would have been an interesting option there, but then I would have had to fake out King Gambit, and things get interesting that way. So what I will do here is set the Trick Room with the Giraffe. It's Kamoa. Oh, that's pretty bad, actually. I definitely attempt to set Trick Room, and I think I just go for a close combat into the Kangaskhan and attempt the Trick Room. If I can get the Trick Room up, there's maybe a world, but this Kamoa is actually a problem. Kangaskhan does go for the -1 double edge. The Giraffe should take it. I worry about them doubling the Giraffe because they kind of have to here. And there's just a Clanging Scales. Okay, it should be Life Orb, which does kind of give me a chance if it's not the setup area. Although I don't know if the Life Orb Kamoa kills Choppleberry Gambit. Close combat does kill off that Kangaskhan though. We love offensive instant, guys. We love offensive instant. It's so funny. Okay, so now close combat is actually my best move into Kamoa again. I need to live the Aura Sphere. And I don't actually know that calc. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I apologize. My Kamoa calcs are a little lacking. I think I should. It might be a bit of a roll. Yeah, if they're max modest, it's a 37% chance to kill me. So this is what just has to happen. I just have to live. I go close combat and I go Iron Head. If I don't live, it's a problem. What if I do live, though? What if I Sucker Punch, though? Because they are -1 defense. So Sucker Punch is optimal, right? Yes. I know it doesn't do, like, a crazy amount, but they have to Aura Sphere to get the Gambit. If Gambit survives, I get another turn to click Sucker Punch anyways. And if Gambit doesn't survive, then it's still optimal. I believe Sucker Punch is correct there. Right, so here's the thing. I could have Iron Headed and win the game on the spot. But if I die there, this close combat might not be enough to kill off the Kamoa. Right? And this Kamoa doesn't take that Sucker Punch damage. So now this Kamoa is in a spot where it dies to Sucker Punch again because King Gambit lived. And I also got the extra chip just in case King Gambit had died. Which might have been enough to have that Kamoa be dying to that close combat. I think it was the optimal play. Had the Aura Sphere killed, I probably died anyways, but that's nothing I can do there, but that's why Sucker Punch is optimal, I think. Metagross Teacup. This is a Dragapult game. This is a Dragapult game outside of Sand. It's probably not much of a Raichu game. As good as Raichu is with, you know, Focus Blast here, it's a little tricky to fully be bringing into this matchup, I think, just because of the Excadrill. Dragapult stands a little bit better of a fighting chance into that kind of matchup. So what I think I want to do is I want to just go Giraffe Dragapult. It's kind of forcing my game plan. It's a little questionable if they do lead like Excadrill. Like Excadrill T-Tar into this is pretty bad. So maybe it's supposed to be late game Dragapult and I'm supposed to be leading like Incin Venusaur. But the problem with leading Venusaur is if they have the Metagross on lead, it's a problem. What if I covered my options and I went like Dragapult, Venu, Incin, Giraffe? I think that covers my options to the best of my ability because I have Dragapult to pressure down Metagross if they decide to lead it that way. If they lead the Sand mode, I can go Dragapult immediately out into Incin. And I think that's the coverage that I would be looking for in terms of getting out of anything that they can lead. I could make a hard call out, but I don't really want to make a hard call out, so we'll play it a little slower, try to get this Dragapult forced into a game. This is a game for it though, and it is T-Tar Excadrill. Okay. So I get effectively what I wanted to get here. Right? I get the ability to pivot out my Dragapult into the Incin. I'm not overly scared about T-Tar, because I do have close combat on my Incin. Getting to that spot might be a little difficult, but I will just send a Giga Drain into the Excadrill. It's going to be a 2-shot anyways, whether I Earth Power or Giga Drain, so I might as well get a little bit of health back potentially here. So leading Incin Venu straight up would have just been golden, but that's okay. Wonder if they're going to like protect, if they're going to send a Mega immediately as well. Just Rock Slides. Okay, well, I guess we'll go, oh my goodness, that did way too much. That's a crit. That's a bad crit. I know I lose my Whiter, but I don't need it. The crit sucks. At least I don't flinch and I do get the chance to move there, which is pretty good. I have Fake Out Pressure, which I'm absolutely going to take. That's a very fast T-Tar, by the way. That's like a back speed T-Tar, which is a little peculiar. That Excadrill is going to protect. I don't think... I'm going to Fake Out the T-Tar here, and I'm going to Giga Drain the T-Tar as well. I'm going to Hard Call this Excadrill protecting. The T-Tar is going to switch out. Please protect the Excadrill at least. Like, surely... Okay. I'm not... Okay, my reads weren't that far off, which is good. And I'll take a little bit of Giga Drain. I don't need the health. I'm pretty sure I'm full health already, but... A little bit of chip into the teacup is never bad. It does put it in range of a Shadow Ball now without needing the Helping Hand, so... I'm going to go Incin immediately out. I do like being able to intimidate things in the future. I could go straight into my Giraffe, in all honesty. It doesn't seem like a bad opportunity to get that in. And then I'm just going to go Earth Power. Now it will probably kill the Excadrill, and I can't get redirected by the Teacup. So let's go for that KO here if I can get it. Because then my Dragapult is the fastest thing on the field again. And if Dragapult can remain the fastest thing on the field again, we're golden. But yeah, that is a super fast T-Tar. I wonder if it's like a Focus Sash, just max speed Sash. Rock Slide's fine. They are -1. I'm not too concerned about that damage. And Venu does get that Earth Power, so Excadrill should be going down to this. Thank you, Venusaur. Okay. Unfortunately, like, Dragapult hasn't done much. But I did get to bring it to this game. That's pretty cool. And they go ahead and life you. That's very fine. I am slower than the T-Tar as a concern, but I do have, you know, Trick Room if I want to get into that position. But it's going to be Metagross coming in. Okay. This is okay, as dumb as that sounds. Because Dragapult is very good here. I don't really want to lose my Venusaur though. So this is going to be interesting on terms of how I want to approach this. I send a Thunderbolt into the Metagross to chip it into range of a Shadow Ball. Like, the absurdly bulky Metagrosses can live that Shadow Ball. So let's just protect over here, see how they want to approach this. And the concept is going to be next turn I'm going to hard pivot in my Incin. Okay, that's fine. They didn't Mega. Which is... Why is it Cosmic Power? Why is it Cosmic Power? Now I'm scared. Like, I go Pult, and I send an Earth Power. Like, now I have no clue what to expect from the Metagross now. And that's the concern. Like, before, it's like, okay, yeah, no, Psychic Fangs, Steel move, right? But now I really don't know what I'm supposed to be expecting from this Metagross. And that concerns me a lot. Like, what if there is no Psychic move now? But now, of course, there's a Psychic Fangs. Still a winnable game, depending on what this Teacup decides to do. Machigotcha's fine. And we're dodging. Thank you, Dragapult. This is going to be very uphill. Shadow Ball the Teacup because they should redirect, and I fake out the Metagross. What I need to do is get to Helping Hand Shadow Ball range into this Metagross, but I don't know if I'm able to get to that spot. Let's kill the Teacup. If it's a double protect, this is pretty bad, but... Because I can't really go for like the leverage of Darkest Lariat here. I think I go for it though. Like I have to hope that Dragapult can take a hit from the Metagross here, I think. So I kill the Sinistcha and I just go Darkest Lariat. It does get through the defense boost, which is pretty nice here. But of course it's Kasibberry, why wouldn't it be? That one's pretty normal, but there's everything my opponent needed on this matchup they had, so not much I can realistically do there. I don't think my instinct gets to attack now is the problem. Great body press. Yeah, but if they needed it, if they needed it, they had it here. So the Cosmic Power was a problem. Never really ended up being that, but there's just a life boost, so that's... This is interesting. And I hate to say that this is still an interesting game, but depending on how they approach this, this does get interesting. I'm going to go Helping Hand Shadow Ball. It is my best play. I don't know how I beat a T-Tar in the back here. I'm going to be honest with you. So what's going to happen? I have to call if the Teacup protects on my Shadow Ball. So what I think I'm going to do is hope that the Teacup protects. I'm going to go Helping Hand Shadow Ball, see if I can kill off a Metagross, and give myself a chance. Outside of that, there really isn't a chance, so... Yeah, they just Rage Powder. They're just going to Rage Powder every time here. I was hoping not to have to, you know, reveal the Helping Hand Shadow Ball, but I don't think I'm surviving anything from this Metagross anyways. Teacup goes down. I was never breaking through the T-Tar. The crit on Incin early on mattered, but just because it forced me off the field a little sooner. The Cosmic Power though, so not that I'm saying there's a chance if I crit them, but there is a chance if I do get a chance to crit them. So since critting them becomes my play, my correct option here is to protect here and Thunderbolt into the T-Tar for tip damage. Following turn I go Helping Hand Draco, kill off the T-Tar. And then I just need a Shadow Ball crit into the Metagross. It's a line, it's not a good line, but it is the line. So. Knockoff into the Dragapult, so maybe there's a world here still. Body press, their +2 defense is going to hurt, but the Giraffe is alive, okay. Yeah, that's definitely a Sash T. Okay, I crit them. I was going to say it's definitely a Sash T-Tar, because that did way too much, but... Helping Hand Draco. Hopefully it's enough into the Tyranitar. And then the following turn, I need my Shadow Ball to crit the Metagross. I don't think there's a line here, but I've seen weirder endgames. Ah, come on, Dragapult. That will effectively end this. There's no reason to keep playing this out. We'll jump into another one for you guys. Third game of the day. I don't think I can force Dragapult here, but I might have to. Do I get the kill on Giraffe if I just go Helping Hand Draco? I'm very curious now, in all honesty. I honestly might. It's gonna be really close. I might just send it. Yeah, I'm gonna send it turn one. It's still a good play because even if they get Trick Room up, I still have a Giraffe. I think the Incin here is also a very good piece. And then I don't think I can go Raichu. I think it's going to be the Venusaur, a little bit bulkier piece to get through some of those Trick Room turns. And I think that will be the line. But if they are a bold Giraffe, I have about a 60% chance of getting this KO. So hopefully. And this is my main concern with Dragapult, is that even with the helping hand sometimes, it doesn't quite get there. Right? And I was worried about that, but hopefully it's enough and we can get a KO here. And if we do get the Giraffe, we're in a pretty good spot. I know like Calm Giraffe is like a thing, because like there's no reason to be bold when you have an Intimidate beside yourself, but we'll see how this goes. Should be instant Giraffe. That's a Mawile and an instant. Okay, so new plan. Helping Hand Fire Blast. That will get the KO. Do I have to Helping Hand though? Because Fire Blast, in theory, into Mawile should be enough. Oh yeah, Fire Blast is definitely enough into the Mawile. That's with the Helping Hand. Hold on. No, it's not. I do need the Helping Hand, so I'm gonna send it. I could also like Protect. I don't think they're gonna expect Helping Hand Fire Blast. If they call me out on this, sure. By far, my better play is to like swap Giraffe out into Instant. Swap Dragapult out into Instant, and like play this a lot slower. Maybe drop a Thunderbolt for some chip damage onto the Mawile. Tons of better options here. I'm not going to go for them for the sake of the video. I want to see Dragapult do some Dragapult things. So we're going to go for this Helping Hand and hopefully just send it into the Mawile here without having to worry about like a Protect. Dragapult, why, buddy? You had one chance. Okay, Dragapult. You have to have it here. I can't tell you anything else, but you have to have it here. If you're going to do anything, it has to be here. I think I can go Dragapult Venu straight up, and that puts me in phenomenal positions versus anything that they actually lead. So I'm absolutely going to go ahead and do that. The Giraffe is interesting. I don't know if I need it. Instant is also very, very good here. Maybe it's just Instant Giraffe, and I just say I don't need Raichu. I think that checks out. They locked in pretty quickly. If I had to guess, they're going to bench the Gyarados. Although it might be their only Mega if they're not Mega Garchomp, so maybe they do bring it anyways, but regardless, my Dragapult on lead here is very, very strong. Sylveon, Sneasel. The Sylveon's a problem. I am going to just double Protect. It's a little bit of a coward's play, but it also does kind of open up the turn for me to put pressure into Sylveon next turn with just Sludge Bomb and Shadow Ball take that KO. This should just be Fake Out into Venusaur and probably what I can only assume is a Hyper Voice. This is a Dragapult. If Sneasler's going to Protect, which is interesting. So I wonder if that means there's no Focus Sash. Is everybody protecting? What's happening here? Oh, just Protect Hyper Voice. That's. I'm gonna double Sylveon. Like, it's so easy for me to call a Sylveon Protect. So I'm just gonna double it with a Shadow Ball and a Sludge Bomb. It's not like the ideal play because they could just Protect and get a Dire Claw off. But the Sneasler right now shouldn't be much of a threat. Can't wait to fall asleep. Okay. If I would have fallen asleep there, I would have cried. Would have just packed it in. Called it a day. Once again, though, the Sneasler doesn't scare me. The Sylveon scares me. The switch into my Sludge Bomb plus Shadow Ball doesn't really exist, so I'm just going to take that opportunity and take care of it. Okay. And they're just going to give me the Sylveon as a result, which is pretty nice. It's good damage, honestly. Okay, thank you. I was so worried. I went silent. I'm like, I cannot have I cannot have this Dire Claw do anything. That Sludge Bomb, guys, does... sorry, that crit doesn't matter, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure Sylveon takes 65 from a Sludge Bomb from a Mega Venusaur. So, Ceruledge hitting board. This is... definitely kill the Ceruledge, bring in... So, I mean, the interesting play is Instant on this side. And, like, Protect. And then I get, like, Fake out Earth Power next turn. But I can't say I love that position. This feels like I'm taking away my pressure, you know? Let's do it this way. This covers for the Shadow Sneak. It doesn't cover for a Poltergeist, but it does open up Instant Giraffe for an endgame, which is very nice. So I get massive damage here with a Life Orb Shadow Ball. Ceruledge should take it, but that's fine. We're going to see a Dire Claw that I can only presume going into my Giraffe. And probably a Poltergeist now. Citrus Berry? They Dire Claw the Dragapult. Is this a double into my Pult? Oh, they got greedy. Okay, that's really good. Okay, well, this is just Shadow Ball into Ceruledge again. So we finally got our Dragapult game at the end here. So Psychic and Shadow Ball. There's not a lot they can do. Dire Claw does not kill Dragapult. Ceruledge can't click Shadow Ball right now, and Psychic goes into Sneasler pretty easily. So this is pretty solid here. They do have to like Dire Claw and hope for a crit or a poison move or whatever, a sleep in this case, I guess. So we got pretty lucky dodging all of the Dire Claw stuff. We get a Psychic off. Sneasler is going to go down. Curious as to what their last mon is, but I don't think they had anything that was faster than Dragapult. So I should have a free KO into said Ceruledge, as they do bring in Garchomp. So a Scarf Garchomp could still win them this game. So to get around Scarf Garchomp, my best play is to Shadow Ball and switch. Sorry, Shadow Ball and Trick Room. If they get the double protect, that is why it's my most optimal. They are Mega Garchomp though, so still happy with my Trick Room here. I'm probably losing my Dragapult, but Dragapult's done its job. Took out the Sylveon in combination with the Venusaur. Just was really annoying versus that Sneasler stuff too, right? The Sneasler really couldn't do anything versus it, so I know it was a little bit of an off-meta team, but the potential here for Dragapult, I do see the line, the openings for it, you know? This is going to be an Earthquake, presumably. Earth Power. What is this? Are people running? Is like Special Mega Garchomp like a thing? It's this third one I've played today. I know I haven't featured all three of them, guys. I was trying to get you some Dragapult games. Because that's what the video is about, right? You guys want to be... You guys are here to watch Dragapult play, not the rest of the team. Which is why you might be wondering why, why don't I bring Raichu? But really quickly to wrap this one up, guys. I think Dragapult is relatively real. I know we didn't have too many chances to showcase its full potential. It did do a lot of work in that last game, and I made some questionable reads all day. But I think there's something here. I think like the Giraffe, Instant, Dragapult, Venusaur for sure is very good. Raichu is kind of cute in a sense where if I would have been in a position, I could have gone like Dragapult, Raichu, and just gotten super aggressive with it. I don't think I was able to find one of those matches today. But there are logics behind these pieces here. Gambit was fun. I don't know if it's necessarily the correct piece or the correct way I want to be approaching that slot, or what would be a Trick Room sweeper in that sense, right? So there might be something better there. Could just be a Sylveon, right? Maybe I was right on stream the other day. I did have a Sylveon on that one. I will link that stream down below if you're looking for more Dragapult gameplay. It's a very similar team to what you see here. But overall, I think Dragapult has a chance. I know it misses KOs at times, but I think there's definitely a spot for it. I will probably go back to Flamethrower on the Dragapult, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just like the consistency. We saw that little 3 seconds in there that like I had the Mawile dead and I just clicked Fire Blast and I missed. I'm like, well, I can't do much about that. I guess if I hit my moves, we're gaming. But overall, I think the team is pretty cool. There's some definitely potential here as well. If you do enjoy the team, feel free, of course, to try it out. The link is, the rental code is up there. The paste will be down below as well if you don't want to worry about getting it in-game. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please feel free to let me know. Leave a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Of course, if you guys have any suggestions for this series, I'm still trying to find the right number of games that I should be putting into these, so please let me know. And of course, if you have any suggestions on future Pokemon, there's a comment down below. Go respond to that. Feel free to check that out, because I want to feature some Pokemon you guys want to see as well. But that is going to do this. I think I've rambled enough. By far, way too long of a video. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in a future video.